So I'm pretty excited to be speaking to you today about the 1DX Mark II, which is Canon's latest sport and wildlife camera. I've been really fortunate to be able to get my hands on one of the 1DX Mark IIs. It is a beta version, but at this late stage it's not likely that there'll be too many changes from the cameras that are going to be shipping very soon. One of the most important questions for wildlife photographers is image quality. There's two kind of aspects to the image quality that are important. One is obviously resolution and sharpness. The other aspect is low light image quality. So I shoot only with ambient light. I don't use flashes or any kind of artificial lights for my wildlife shooting. So I was really excited just to see what kind of advances Canon had made with the DX2. So what we did was took a 7200 2.8 Mark II. We got the 1DX and we got the beta 1DX Mark II together, and we shot a series of test images. I shot at different ISOs all the way through, and I'm going to take those images and compare them in a processing program. I only shoot RAW, so none of the in-camera noise reduction that the cameras would do if I was shooting JPEG has taken place. So I'm using live view on the camera for the image quality test because I found it to be really accurate when you're working off of a tripod like this. You also get an audible confirmation of when the camera is in focus. I've also set up the 2-second timer, so I'm not causing any kind of shake to the image. So I'm just going to keep working through the different ISO settings. Right, so we've downloaded the images off the 1DX Mark II and the 1DX onto my computer, and starting out at ISO 100 and going all the way up to 12,800 ISO on the last image. Up to 800 ISO there's not much visible difference in noise, but from 1600 ISO the new camera really seems to perform at maybe a stop cleaner, and ISO 3200 in particular has become so clean that I'm able to use that even if I've got quite good light. I can use ISO 3200 anytime I need a faster shutter speed, or where it becomes really useful is if I'm photographing action and I would like to increase my chances of getting my whole subject in focus, even if my focus point might grab the wrong part of the animal. If I'm able to put the ISO up, instead of taking a faster shutter speed, once I've got enough shutter speed, I can rather take more depth of field. So that basically gives me more latitude when I'm shooting action. So there's a lot of benefits. It's not just shooting in low light, but it's also giving me a more versatile sensor for photographing action. So there's a lot of times with fast moving animals, if I'm able to stop down to smaller aperture, maybe 5.6 or 6.3 or even f8, it just gives me a higher chance of getting that whole animal in focus. I'm now at 8000 ISO on the 1DX. A little bit of color and luminance noise showing here in this black area, and also now starting to show up just above the tan part of the dog's ear, and I can still see a bit more noise now. It's still not an issue, but showing in the dog's eye. And if we go to the 1DX Mark II, you can see it's, despite the bigger image, even at 1:1, it's staying a little cleaner. So I would, to my eye, it looks to be about a stop. The last comparison that I'll look at here is ISO 12,800. We're starting with a 1DX. We zoom in there. Obviously, I would expect to see noise, and it's there. It's crept down quite a bit in the dog's out of focus ear. It's also starting to soften the white fur that you can see here. The eye is still nice and sharp, and you could definitely use this image for internet purposes, and you could also apply noise reduction. I've not applied any. 1DX Mark II, 12,800 ISO, definitely noise showing in the ear now, but still lots of detail, and the dog's eye only has a small amount of noise showing. And again, every time you compare the two cameras images 1-to-1, you need to be aware that the one is a 20 megapixel frame as opposed to an 18, so that if you print those images out or you view them at the same size on a computer screen, the larger image is going to enjoy a benefit. So after taking a close look at the images from the 1DX Mark II side by side with the 1DX, I'm pretty confident that this new camera is giving me about a one-stop advantage in raw image quality. So that's significant. Perhaps one of the biggest benefits of the new sensor. When you combine the improvement in image quality with the extra resolution, it's a significant step forward in image quality. For me, Canon's best camera for wildlife photography so far. I have also put the images onto my website, and I've written a blog where I've compared the images and discussed the differences in image quality, so you can find that on my website. Subscribe to this channel if you want to keep getting videos about Canon gear from a wildlife photographer's perspective.